What is going on, fams? It is a new year, 2023, and we have a lot up on the docket coming up. But today we're gonna do some light work. I'm sure you guys have seen, especially back in like the 90s, old Japanese drip videos. Some of them had snap-on screwdrivers, but were actually the key for the car. At least some of you have seen this before. I've done this to a bunch of cars. I made one for my Supra, and man, I wish I still had the Supra just to film with, because that was such a fun build. We did the whole motor and big single, and Jimmy tuned it on an AEM Infinity, and that was just an awesome car. It ran so good with the 2J in it, you know, GTE. But getting back to it, we had a snap-on key in that. A bunch of my old Silvias and my GTR had a snap-on key. So I have a bunch of snap-on screwdrivers. I personally like the orange ones, and this one's like early 2000s snap-on. You can get them on eBay for like 20 bucks. It's nice to have like one that's a little bit used. You don't want a brand new screwdriver, and I don't really like the newer style ones. I really like these ones, period correct. But we're gonna do it for the Sima. I might make one for the Silvia as well, but the Silvia already has a really cool old school old logo Nismo key. It might be backwards. So I already got the cool titanium Nismo key for the Silvia. We're gonna make this for the Sima. Now, back in the day, they actually like made like it looked like a screwdriver, but you were able to fit a key into it, and it was made to mimic like what I'm about to do, and it had a key ring at the end. This is the only thing that kind of stinks. You can't put it on a key ring, so it's just a standalone key, and it's just a novelty item. It looks cool, and that's about it. But that's what we're gonna do today. So I started off going to the local hardware store. For some reason, Home Depot or Walmart couldn't find the right key to replicate for a 90s Nissan. I don't know why, but they didn't. So I went to my local hardware store and they had one. I had a key cut. It was like $2 or $3, nothing crazy. And then just make sure it works good. This one works mint. I already started the car with it, but if you have a key that's a little rough or you got to wiggle, it really sucks once you put it into a screwdriver. You don't want that. You want a key that's nice and smooth and that's not going to get jammed up or anything, basically. So you're going to start with your spare key and basically mark it. Just cut right along the edge to make it a long straight key. You're just cutting off all this excess essentially. And we're gonna take our trusty Dremel. I just got these Ryobi locking blades at Home Depot the other day. I also have the Dremel ones, but figure I'll give these ones a try. They are a lot cheaper than the Dremel versions. These are like 20 bucks for a set. And it comes with a bunch of blades and the actual locking mechanism. And this one's like physically, you gotta screw it on versus the Dremel, which is like a automated spring type. And I kind of like the idea that you screw this one on and lock it in place. So we are giving them a try and seeing how they do. Basically, what you end up with is that. It's a little bit hot. But now we are going to let it cool down because I'm burning my fingers. And then I'm just gonna, you can either sand it or file it. I'm probably just gonna file it for now, because it's very little bit on the edge. Bring a file to it, clean it up a little bit, and start prepping the screwdriver. All right, so now we're going to, look how messy my desk is, all fucking boxes coming in, and it needs to be cleaned. You're gonna light up your map gas and grab a channel lock. Now, Basically just heat up the screwdriver portion. You gotta get it real hot though. And there it is. And you can see it's actually got a flat portion. Next, let this cool down so it's not hot and melty anymore. You're gonna take a razor and just clean up this section. Get this plastic out of here. Basically you want it about an inch into the key. I feel like that is a good distance. And now you can see it will slide right in, right about there. You want to make sure it's straight at all angles. Looks good. And now we are going to mix up some JB Weld while that cools off. Let it cool down right in place. All right, so you mixed up your JB Weld, and then you just fill the hole with JB Weld, and you slot your cut key back in right where you marked it and right how deep you want it. And then you wipe off the excess. You're gonna have a little tiny bit on there. You just wipe it off, but really not too bad. That's just part of it if you want it to be strong. Make sure it is centered. You know, make sure it's centered on all angles. It's real easy to get crooked. This one actually looks a tiny bit crooked. Just push it over a little bit. And it's really not a big deal if it is. Now it's nice and straight. And put it somewhere for 24 hours to cure. And that's it. You got yourself a snap-on drift key. We'll try this thing out tomorrow and see how it works. All right, it is 24 hours later and our key has dried up and it is nice and strong. So we are going to test it out. I am not going to start the car because I started doing the spark plugs in it and I did not finish. But see, that's what I was talking about, having enough room. You don't want to make it too deep in because you need it to clear. She works. So success in the door. And success. It's nice and strong after it's dried up. So now we have an official snap-on drift key. Super cool. But yeah, we're all done with that. Just something cool, little shit to do. Now we got a bigger project coming up though. So I am going to start getting the parts prepared, get the car on the lift, because the next video, we're doing something a little bigger. But that is gonna be it for this one, guys. I forgot my hat today. I look weird without a hat. But you know the deal. If you're not subbed yet, hit the subscribe button for more JDM goodness. We got some cars coming in this month. We're up to 3 coming in this month. So you will see that along the way. And for you guys that didn't know, I half-heartedly put the Sylvia up for sale. I don't really expect it to sell, but if someone gives me my number, I will sell it. Just to free up some other money for some other builds, and I'm not gonna lie, I kind of want an Evo 5. So if the Sylvia sells, we're gonna get an Evo 5. But if not, we're gonna continue to build the Sylvia. I mean, it's definitely one of the cleaner S chassis out here at the moment. They're getting harder and harder to find, but I've never had an Evo, and I kind of want an Evo 5. So if it sells, we're gonna get an Evo 5. That's all there is to it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned because we got a really cool project coming up on the Sima later on this week. See you guys then. Peace.